Most people prefer to use cast iron or carbon steel to cook animal-based products, fish, meat, eggs. But what if you only eat vegetables? Is cast iron and carbon steel still the best choice? Hey, I'm Jed, and this is Cook Culture. So I get asked a lot how to cook different types of food, how to cook fish using a carbon steel pan, how to perfectly sear a steak on a cast iron pan. And the reality is, I don't know. I'm a vegan and I cook plants. So it's interesting when people find that out, because they're like, but you use cast iron and carbon steel, like that's meat cookware. There really isn't one type of cookware for one type. Definitely, sure, cowboy cookware that is a traditional American style cast iron, it's synonymous with cooking steaks and cooking meat. But as I grew up eating plants, and not that I've been a vegan my entire life, but as I grew up cooking vegetarian style, and now I cook fully plant-based at home, and I cook for my family 100% plant-based, I love using cast iron and I love using carbon steel, as you may have gathered by watching this channel. And I love the process, I love maintaining it, I love looking after it, I love the way in which it finishes all the food. And I do that through cooking plants. Plants are actually a little bit more difficult to work with, and getting them just right and getting the texture just right can take more work. And there's a benefit to cooking with meats from the fat basis that adds a lot of flavor and helps with some stick resistance. But when you're cooking with vegetables all the time, you don't have those benefits. And if you've been cooking with meat previously and then you cook your vegetables in afterwards, like cooking your hash and your bacon grease, there's some benefit. But if you're cooking 100% with plants, and also you're doing it from a health perspective, that you don't want to be drowning things in oil, then it can get a little trickier. So that's what this video is about, right? I'm going to make myself a simple meal that I would make any day of the week. I make for my family, and it's a simple everyday food for me. But the method that I'm going to be using is adding moisture while I'm using iron cookware. So carbon steel and cast iron, they can dry out quite quickly. I find when I'm using stainless steel, stainless doesn't react so quickly with the foods, and it can kind of soak things. It really draws the moisture out quite a lot, so you get a lot of moisture out of the foods. It doesn't dry as quickly, but I can find that things get a little bit mushy. And what I find beautiful about using cast iron and carbon steel is that adding water in as I cook, I can get things to start to brown and develop some flavors, and then I can semi-deglaze as I'm going and bring that flavor all through what I'm cooking. And you'll see that as I'm cooking my meal. And it works beautifully well for me. And if you're really interested in cooking more vegetables at home, or you do just cook vegetables, and you find that using cast or carbon, you're burning or browning way too much before things are fully cooked, this is the method that I use, and it works beautifully well for me. So here we go. We're going to make some food. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. That is a meal which I'll have any day of the week. I absolutely love it. My kids will love a meal like that. Tons of flavor, tons of texture. The asparagus still is really nice and crunchy. And the lentils, just absolutely amazing. Lentils are just an absolute perfect food. You know, if you are worried about where you're going to get your protein, if you're eating a lot of vegetables, or if you're finding you're hungry after eating a lot of vegetables, eat lentils. They come in tons of different shapes, tons of different sizes, different textures for different ones, and you can blend them, you can do them al dente, you can overcook them if you want them more gushy, if that's your thing. You know, they're just absolutely amazing. You can stuff them into things, you can layer them in lasagna. Yeah, they're just absolutely tremendous. And that's gonna do a lot for you for getting all the nutrients that lentils have in them, getting your protein, getting quite a lot of iron, and just being, you know, a healthier vegetable eating person. So the issue that you're going to run into with cooking this way, using cast iron, carbon steel, is that you're going to all of a sudden have dry pans. So you finish cooking and your pans are very, very dry. So this happens even with a good seasoning. And so what we want to do is season them post-season. So people will say to me all the time, how often do you post-season? I post-season every time I cook because I cook this way. If you're cooking with really fatty foods, meats, you're not going to post-season the same way that I do. So this is how I post-season every single time. So quick little rundown on post-seasoning. I know I've done this in lots of other videos, but just a quick nail on these guys that I'm going to show you that I'm just as I put them away. So here we go. I've had these guys on the heat on a 6 for a few minutes. We've got our Cookware seasoning wax, and you can use grapeseed oil on here also, works fine. So what I'm doing is just rubbing some of my wax on the pans all over. They've been on the heat here for maybe 5 minutes, 4 minutes. So I give them a good scrub. They didn't really need much, as you saw in the video, especially with this pan. I got some water into the pan right away once I was finished cooking, and then I let it soak. So just if you're cooking and you just want to get your food on the table and eat, just get some water into these guys and let them sit. It's fine. If they're well seasoned, they can sit forever with some water in them. They're going to be totally fine. And then just don't let it like dry inside. Just put enough water so there's a bath. And then get your seasoning paste on and let it cook for a little while so it doesn't look so kind of glossy. And then maybe 2 or 3 minutes, keeping on the heat, and then just turn the heat off, let them sit, and you're all done. Okay, so I hope that helps you understand a little bit of plant-based cooking with carbon steel and cast iron. Any questions, please throw them down below. And if you like the channel, please subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. And thanks so much.